So we are live. What's up, Mo? How you doing, man? You wouldn't happen to still be abroad, would you? I hope you're doing all right. Either way. Thanks for tuning in, man. Eluhu Youngblood, loving this MGTOW easy street word. Word. No drift. Hey D, keen to hear your take on current events. Word. All out testing. We live. What's up? All out testing. What's up, Jam? I don't even know what that says. Golden. I don't know what that says. What's up, Elijah Pittman? What's up? So, when I accidentally seen this clip on YouTube, I legit busted out laughing and I did laps around my flat, just like laughing. And she watched me do it. My spouse was sitting right here with my son. I watched that and I watched this and I was like, oh my fucking God. I cannot believe Trump did that shit. I was like, I'm officially Team Trump. I said, Trump did not tell one lie that entire time. Now, here's the thing. I was never a fan of how Trump got his initial support because it was essentially just based off of racism with the whole Mexicans are evil, bad, rapists, murderers, and all that. I was never a fan of how he got that. And I would never vote for him because how he talks, that most people are not intelligent enough to handle how he talks. But again, his initial push was pretty much rooted in triggering the forgotten whites of North America. That was his initial push to get that part, which is a large part of the population. He focused on the forgotten whites to get them mad, to blame a foreigner for all their problems, right? Because he wasn't talking to the rich whites. The rich whites don't live next to Sanchez. The rich whites don't. If the rich whites are lucky, they might bump into Sanchez while he's washing a car at best, right? He targets main audience when he first started was the poor and forgotten whites. That's it, right? And it was very clear at the time when it happened. So I mean, and that's where his initial push to get him on the map came from, was building a whole wall in Mexico and all that silly shit, right? And it worked, right? Because that was the majority of the population in North America. But this is 100% fact, and there's no way around it. And if anything, here's the thing. If anything, the world, okay, there's a few reasons why the world's going to hate this, and I'm going to go into this. I was explaining this to my spouse this morning. Many reasons of why the world is going to have a hard time digesting this reality, because too many worlds are clashing. People are not even aware that there are different types of whites. See, like once you hit up like other countries, they just like, they think all whites are just, happily peaceful, rich and successful and strong and powerful and all knowing and all that. And everybody else is inferior, right? But in Europe, Europeans know there's different types of whites. Like there's based off of complete cultures and languages, and they'll judge each other and kick each other out the countries, right? Or look lower on each other. But there's so many reasons that will trigger confusion out of people, right? But first I'll start with this. Europe. Oh, it's Dutch. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay. Good, okay. I don't know Dutch, but I'll take your word for it. But here's the thing, and this is the main part of why Americans who are mad about this say America's a laughing stock. Okay, let me make one thing very clear right now. America is not a laughing stock of the world. What this was Trump got emotional, and people just don't want to like Trump, so they'll blame Trump for that. They'll just make fun of Trump for saying Biden was dumb and all that stuff. But if once you actually get into a conversation about it, they'll say all the shit that Trump said, right? Because it happened today when I was working at the bank with both of my students. One guy he's actually from Ukraine, and we went through that. It's the same path. It's like first it's like, oh, Trump's wild, Trump's crazy, and then literally 20 minutes later they're saying all the same shit that I say and that Trump said. Like Europe can't protect itself. Europe is not strong enough. Europe is severely segregated. They need North America. And if North America leaves, Europe is a sitting duck. It's not even a valuable sitting duck for real. Let's be honest about it. Africa is a far more valuable place to take. Europe is not even Europe is not even directly, the world can get away. The world would be fine without Europe's existence. Let's be completely honest about it. Um, 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 but I'm Team Trump. I'm Team Trump. When I watch, I fell out when he said, if it wasn't for us, you guys would have been gone in 2 weeks. Because that's exactly what I said when the shit first started. They would have been gone in 2 weeks. Right? So back to the confusion. Briefly, the confusion part comes in. See, Europe on an entire this message was not only directed towards Europe. And see, this is where Europe, on a continental level, will hope that the world hates Donald Trump for this, right? And they'll do anything they can to say something against him. The reason why is because Europe is pushing this facade on the world, and the world keeps falling for it. If Trump goes in there and exposes Europe for all the bullshit, faggot shit that it pulls, right? If people focus on Ukraine and how they pulled that faggot shit, and then motherfuckers start thinking, oh well, what about Switzerland? What about Germany? What about Spain? What about them? What are they doing to other countries in Europe? And all that shit starts to get exposed. That Europe is not this white wonderland of the gods. They're fucked up. Right. Now, they do have a casual base of living that compared to America is life on easy mode, and most Europeans aren't even aware of it. But their life is completely on easy mode compared to North America in many ways, more ways than not. But when it comes to the real topics, like how come you guys can't unite? How come you guys don't have your own strong militaries to genuinely protect yourselves? Your continent. You make fun of Americans because Americans don't know that you're a continent, and there's many different. Well, how come you can't even unite one state to the other state? See, all of these questions will start coming out soon. So Europe is in Europe. It is in Europe's best interest that the world just blames Trump and just ignores any logic that Trump actually said, right? Because if that logic comes out, it's gonna start proliferating to fucking all the situation with the EU. How come you guys can't combine? What's your education rates like? Well, what are you doing? Why did you hire this person? Yeah, see, all of that will start to come out. And that's just the reason why okay, now to be clear, that's just continental Europe's reason for hoping that the world jumped on this and hopes the world just berates Donald Trump for saying logic, but saying it in an arrogant way, right? Now, the Americans who are embarrassed to have Donald Trump as a president, see, the Americans that are all on that boat are hating it for completely different reasons, right? Europe is going to hate it because Europe doesn't want to be exposed for the clown show that it is. If they think America is a clown show, wait, you ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing. NUFFIN. Okay. To put it in perspective, it would be like Ohio, Indiana, and Kentucky are on three completely different forms of currencies, three completely different languages, three completely different forms of government. That's what Europe is. But nobody puts that thought to it, or they try to glorify it because it's Europe. Right? Like I always said. The only reason why people care about Ukraine is because it has Europe written on top of it. If in the world, if Ukraine had to happen literally 5 minutes east of continental Europe, nobody would have cared. And Ukraine wouldn't have got 20% of that help and aid. The reason why they're getting any of that help is because the rich Westerner countries think white heaven because they see Europe on top of it, and they jumped at the chance to fly overseas to go help Ukraine. trying to get some white pussy. That's what it was, dude. That's all it was. Now, the Americans, they're all up in arms and they're all embarrassed about it because they can't get because they cannot stand to get that tarnished image of Europe. They can't stand that. So any logic will never ever come out of the Americans' mouth who's like mad about it and how did Trump did this and all that, blah blah blah. Right? They'll never do it. Because they can't stand it to get that mental image of Europe be tarnished like that. They can't stand it. They can't because it'll break their entire core foundation of beliefs. And I was telling my spouse this morning that's American media doing that. American media is pushing Europe at this point. Europe has eaten so much off of what North America has done, which was essentially fueled in racism from the core. But Europe ate off of all that, dude. Europe ate off of all that. So at this point, because I told my spouse this morning, I said, look, America is a media powerhouse. Okay. Okay, the only countries on earth in any modern time that would have made an extreme effort to push their hand on something is America, Russia, and Germany, right? Those are the three. China really isn't on that to go over somewhere and force something on people. They'll do it amongst their own, but when they leave China, they go out and try to actually make deals with motherfuckers on, like on some bartering shit. Now they'll screw them over in that, but they try it in that form, right? It's not I'm just gonna go beat you up and take it or bomb you or some shit. Like China's not gonna do. The only three that would ever do it in the last 100, 200 years consistently is gonna be Germany, America, and Russia, right? Now, since America, and I'd explain all this from the core to my spouse to get her to get it, of why Ukraine's even getting any help at all or any attention, okay? So since America is it was in the running to be a powerhouse of the world, America's superpower is media, right? So at this point, Germany has essentially been castrated after the Holocaust. America destroyed Germany's reputation. Unless you talk about automobiles on a worldwide, unless you talk about Mercedes-Benz and BMW, the immediate next topic is Nazis. And depending on who you talk to, it might be the first topic, right? America single-handedly destroyed Germany's reputation so bad that if a German farts and it sounds aggressive, motherfuckers gonna jump all on him and call him a neo-Nazi. A German can't even get upset in public. That's that American media doing that. Right? American media castrated Germany to the point where Germany just has to give out free money and let everybody come in. And it's fucked up. It is. Because they ain't got nothing to do with Hitler. The ones now ain't got nothing. And even most people back then didn't have anything to do with that for real. But that's that American media powerhouse, right? So next, the next topic I brought up is, okay, with Russia. Why do you think the world is instinctively hesitant about Russia? Okay, especially countries that aren't close to Russia. Why do you think Americans are immediately hesitant about Russia? Because American media. That's why. Every movie America makes about Russians, what are they? They're thugs. They sell guns. They do drugs. They do street fights. They do underground fighting, underground killing sessions. They're always some wild, extravagant, violent, just unhuman motherfuckers, right? I told my spouse, I said, look, if America decided in the next month to make every movie show Russians as nice and likable and lovable, the world would love Russia in 10 years, max. All that be changed. Well, I don't say the world. Maybe not the countries like immediately close, because some of them still have issues with Russia. But the countries that are further away would love Russia. That's American media, the powerhouse that American media is. So yeah, this is John. Yeah, so okay, so the other part I was telling my spouse and I would talk this with my students is, look, Ukraine in itself is not even like extremely valuable. Like they got some little bullshit. I mean, they got their dirt is good, but from what I remember when I was there and I read into it when I was there to try to see what was so good about it because because they're chocolate. If you get chocolate in Ukraine, it's always incredibly cheap. I think they're good at sunflower oil. I think that's the other resource that's big. As far as anything else, the world can really get by pretty easily. Well, even without that. The reason why America has interest in Ukraine is the same reason why America had interest in going to the moon, because Russia had interest in it, and Russia is the only contender that's on the same level as America in terms of fighting in the world, and being that bold about it. Is the same shit. That whole Sputnik shit is because Russia wanted to go to the moon, so now America had to go to the moon. And it's the same thing with Ukraine. Okay, Russia wants Ukraine because Russia's trying to get all the influence on Europe. And so now America heard that and was like, yeah, we can't have you do that, bro. And America has to intervene. Like I said, if that exact same situation had to happen 5 feet outside of continental Europe, it would have got 20 at maximum 20% of the worldwide attention. And that's a fucking that's a fact. Right. But that media, it's that media is pushing that. So back to the media. So like I said, if Russia if America decided to make movies and showed Russia as likable, lovable, brave, courageous, and all that, then Russians would start within I say 5 to 10 years, Russia would gain a massive increase in popularity because of that American media. Like I said, Germany's been castrated. Germany has been turned into a bitch at this point, and it's fucked up to say it. It's fucked up, but that's the reality. Like I said, if a German fucks around and farts and it sounds aggressive, and he has a mustache, the motherfucker's gonna jump on him. A German can't be mean. If a German sounds like he might not like somebody, they gonna call him a new Nazi. And guess where that came from? The 5,000 documentaries on the Holocaust that came out on fucking the History Channel alone. That's where that comes from. Now the German walk around scared. He's scared to say he don't like something. Yeah. I like rice-a-roni. I like rice-a-roni. I'm not a Nazi. I don't hate people. I like rice-a-roni. I heard it has Mexican descent, so I like it. Motherfucker don't like rice-a-roni. But he's scared to say he don't like it. Because you're going to call him a neo-Nazi. It's fucked up. Every time I met a German person, I always ask them this shit. I say, do you feel like the world treats you? If you have any German friends in your real life, ask them. Like, do you ever feel like the world sees you differently or treats you differently because of that Holocaust shit? Do you feel like the world holds you responsible for that? And every single time when we have a heart to heart and we drinking a beer, they say yes without hesitation. If you don't believe me, go try it. Go try it yourself. Because I could just be talking shit. I advise you to go try it. So at this point, Germany's been the men have been castrated. And that's America. America did that. Right? And Russia's reputation is complete dog shit, mostly in the West because North American media. So yeah, I was talking with one of my students. It's funny you say that. If Ukraine joined NATO and Russia let it happen, and your enemy, that's letting your enemy literally chill on your border. So I have a conspiracy theory on the why Zelensky is not pausing this shit, right? Because and we're gonna watch the rant that Trump goes on. Everything Trump says is 1,000% correct, right? And I was saying this shit literally from day one. It is that everything that he says in this, I was saying is day one. Them motherfuckers can't win. It's a waste of time. You'd be much better off just giving it up. Okay, because real quick, another complete bullshit line is this. See, another complete bullshit is that, but they gonna lose their culture and all that. That is the biggest fucking piece of bullshit on earth. When it comes to immigrants and losing cultures, that's never the problem. And I'm going to explain why. Exactly why. Okay. Immigrants and losing culture, it's only a problem if the immigrant is poorer than you. That's it. It's only a problem when the immigrant, when the native looks at it and says, "Oh, I'm going to have to, my country's going to have to pay for your country or pay for you to be here." That's the only time it's a problem. Immigrants are never, expats are not a problem. Expats, never a problem. You don't believe me? Look up where all the U.S. military bases are. See, these are little things that never get talked about. See, why is it that that countries are in line waiting for a U.S. military base to come there? Because that's money for them. They will say, "Fuck our culture. We want that money. We'll learn something else." Bring us the Mickey D's, bruh. Bring some Mickey D's and some Burger King out here. Fuck our culture. Right? Culture don't mean nothing if the person coming there has more money than them. I was with my student today, and I had him laughing about it, right? And I had my spouse laughing about it last night because we were talking about it, because I've been talking about it nonstop. A perfect example is this. I gave my spouse's example because we're in Czech Republic, right? I said, look, if France decided to come to Czech Republic and put a multi-billion-dollar company here and was hiring people for good jobs, by the end of the month, every Czech person gonna be walking around talking about some s'il vous plaît. In 3 weeks, everybody gonna know s'il vous plaît, merci, with the proper accent. S'il vous plaît, merci. All of them gonna be walking around doing it. Fuck, and they gonna be like, "Fuck our culture. We learning your language because your language got money in it." Now, on the flip side, if Romanians just start coming here and say, "Yeah, how come you learn our language?" Fuck your language. We want our culture, bitch. You poor. Go. You better learn Czech. Dobry den. Dobry den. That's how it works. So that whole talk of culture is complete bullshit. Nobody cares about their culture. They care about where more money's coming from. Period. And culture is the money. That's always the problem with immigrants. It's who's going to end up taking all the money. That's always the problem with immigration. It's never about culture. It's never about It's never about that. Never. It's always about money. Always. It's always what you're gonna learn in school, all that. So we was talking about what kids are learning in high school here, right? And I said, let me guess. In Czech Republic, when y'all go to school, y'all gonna have the option to learn Italian, French, Spanish, German, English, right? And she goes, yeah, right? And to prove my point, I said, well, let me guess. Y'all ain't got no Lithuanian classes, do you? Y'all ain't learning Turkish or Romanian or Hungarian in school, are you? No. Why? That's not by accident. That's by design. See, a country will pay their people to learn that richer country's language, but that poorer country's language, fuck them. You can't find resources for their country. That's how the world. It's always about money. It's always about. It's never about. See that bullshit of culture. It's always a bullshit scapegoat, easy excuse way out because people will just accept it, and it's always a bullshit excuse. It's always a bullshit excuse. It has nothing to do with culture. Never, never, never. Think about any other case of rich X coming into your country, buying, gentrifying, making things up more expensive. Yeah, and yeah, attacking. Yeah, and when that expat comes in there and marks shit up and makes it more expensive, people don't join together and hate them. They don't join together and make fun of them or talk them. No, I mean they might be a little mad about it and a little salty about it, but they take it and they just take it. Oh yeah, well the superior one. That's it, right? It's always that. The expat is always welcomed, right? The immigrant That motherfucker better be a hard worker if he wants to fit into our system. He better come here. That motherfucker better come here and work in our system and assimilate. Or he better not come here speaking that ching ching chong chang. Ching ching chong chang. What? Huh? You better not come here speaking no ching ching chong chang if you poor. Now, if you rich, you can. When you come from a rich country, rich family, you can come in and ching ching chong chang. Excuse me, I can't understand you. Can you explain it? But let them be poor and talk about some ching ching chong chang. Like, speak English. I don't know what the fuck you're saying. Get the fuck out of my country. You stink. Ching ching chong chang. I don't understand you, motherfucker. But let that motherfucker pull up in a Bentley talking about some ching ching chong chang. They're like, oh, ching ching chong chang. You guys just don't get it. Ching ching chong chang comes from a very classy family from the 14th century, and their people they used to pull cow dung and make cloth out of cow dung. It's so soft, yeah, because he's rich now. So cow dung is very famous. It's very fancy. You just don't get it. You just don't get it. It's cow dung, and they would take the cow dung and they would make a sheet that you would put your food on and eat off of, and then not only that, they would take the cow piss and make a fine champagne. If they rich, if they poor, them motherfuckers dirty and they stink. They eat cow shit and drink cow piss. That's what it's always that, dude. So that whole argument of like culture, it's always a bullshit. Always, because my spouse, she brought it up on how. And then the guy today, he brought up how, like, well, they're going to lose culture, people dying. It's never about that. It's never about that. People will learn to adopt a new culture if the invader's rich. They'll learn how to. Now, you'll have some people who get mad about it and all that and set fire to their house and all that shit. But for the most part, they'll learn that new culture and forget their own real fast. Yeah, we're gonna watch this in a minute, man. There's a story going around about the news about here that Zelensky's punk ass want to negotiate a peace till now, no love lost. But no, dude, yeah, he should have been let that shit go, man. Look, okay. Oh, my conspiracy theory is this. Because there's no way to prove it, but if I know people are very simple to understand. People are very greedy, especially out in Ukraine. That's just part of their culture out there. Because I was out there. I was telling me and my dad was talking about it. I said, look, when I went out there, I figured I was gonna. When I went to Ukraine, I was in Kiev about a year before all that happened. And my idea was I was gonna go just find some little flat and just keep it, so I could just fly back and forth, to hang out from time to time. And when I seen how them people walked and talked and moved, I said I would never trust that out here. I would never trust that. Unless I really knew somebody out there. I wouldn't trust that culture with $200 to leave it sitting out there a month. I wouldn't trust that. I wanted to buy a MacBook out there, and like I said, I don't know. And like I was out there. I was in Kiev. No, I wouldn't trust that. I don't like nothing about how they walk talking. I mean, it's cool. I would go and hang out, but I wouldn't invest nothing out there because them motherfuckers are some swindlers, dude. So okay, so yeah, back to my my conspiracy theory as to why he's never made a deal. One, I wouldn't put it past him to have made a deal with Putin in some way. Because the motherfuckers, some Slavics are creative like them. Real Slavics are creative like that. Number one, I wouldn't put it past him for Zelensky to have made a deal with Putin a while back. I wouldn't put it past him. I'm not gonna say he did, but I wouldn't put it past him. But my conspiracy theory is this: the reason why he hasn't made some kind of deal, whatever, the reason why he has not figured out a way to make a deal to stop the war is this: one, to just keep begging for money every 15 minutes. And two, he wants World War III to happen. And I'll explain why. I think he wants World War III to happen. Because the longer the war stays open, like Trump said, the longer that war happens, it just raises the chances of World War III. The reason why he would want World War III to happen is because he knows that America's general enemy is Russia. And the reason why he was sitting there kind of dumbfounded is because Trump sat up there and said, no, me and Putin be talking. We cool, bro. And that's why he starts sitting up there kind of dumbfounded like, well, y'all supposed to be enemies kind of shit, right? Because we are. America is known in the world. America and Russia are enemies, right? Me and my Russian friend talked about it. We going to hang out tomorrow and get a beer. Because I talked to him earlier today. I said, yeah, it's fucked up how they be treating Russia. But Zelensky's plan is to start World War III. So he can be the president who was in charge of getting Ukraine into either NATO or the European Union to try to run some sympathy bullshit game of please protect us because we're alone. Right? And he's banking on if it just lasts long enough, Europe will be tired of the tension and all this, and if they can get in, then Russia will have to leave, and now Zelensky will be the president. He will be the president who was in charge of that from the start, and he'll go down in history for that within the country. He don't give that man doesn't give a damn about them people out there dying. Because if he did, he would have worked at making a military, but he didn't because they didn't have a military. For those of you who don't remember, their military was so non-existent that they had to literally put book salesmen, fucking librarians was out there holding guns because they didn't have a military. They don't have one. They had Gucci. They had Louis Vuitton. They had Dolce & Gabbana with homeless people literally standing right outside of them. I know because I was there. They had all that. They figured out deals to get Dolce & Gabbana in there. But they can't make a deal to protect them damn selves. Ain't that a little fucked up? See, this is why Trump, the world needs to hear that. They're not going to hear me because I'm a fucking nobody on YouTube. Right? And a complete nobody. So nobody's going to hear it from me. All you'll hear is like I said, from those whites who want to see Europe as the white wonderland, and they'll do Slava Ukraine. Well, ask yourself this. If Ukraine was so smart and so strong, how the fuck did they figure out how to get Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Porsches, Lamborghinis revving down the goddamn street, but these motherfuckers can't put together 2 goddamn sticks to protect their fucking selves. That's some bitch-made fag shit, dude. Walking around, well, I got on Louis Vuitton. Excuse us, Mr. President, but somebody's getting ready to come and invade us. Invade us? Who care about that? I got on Gucci. Girl, bye. Think about that shit. It's fucked up. No, don't give them no more money. If they so strong and they so smart, if Europe, here's the thing, and this is the other part, because after this came out, everybody was bashing Donald Trump, right? Oh, we don't stand with Donald Trump. We stand with Ukraine. We stand for Europe. Okay, cool. You stand with Europe on this. Put your money where your mouth is, dude. How about y'all just stop taking anything from North America? We pack up the military bases and just boat them on out. We just say, okay, we ain't touching NATO no more, none of that, and we'll just leave Europe to its own devices. Figure it out, right? If motherfuckers got so slick words to say, see, because Europe on a continental level is getting by off the idea of the word Europe in people's heads because they got nothing. If you stand with Europe and you stand with Ukraine, okay, cool. Bash our country who's giving you all this shit. Okay. Then how about this? North America, put your money where your mouth is. North America packs up and leaves and don't touch y'all again. And we will watch you either kill yourselves or all y'all in continental Europe, including the UK, will be speaking Russian in 10 years. All these motherfuckers gonna be saying some Das Vidania. In 10 years flat, all these motherfuckers gonna be speaking Russian. I think America should let it go. I think America should let it go. Because Europe on a whole, I was telling my spouse, and me and my Russian friend, we talk about this. And he says the same shit. Europe is a woman. Continental Europe is feminine. They always sit around with this whole like, well, you should come and help us. Why? You should give me some money. And like we're going to see in this clip, after all this, you should want to come help us. I said thank you. You should want to come help. We're alone. Okay, then be alone then, bro. If you so smart and you so strong, be alone. I'm alone. on an independent level. I moved to the other side of the world. I'm fine being alone. Because I go out there and I protect my fucking self. I set protocols and plans for myself that can still fuck up, but I have the courage to be alone. I'm not gonna sit up and call my daddy and be like, but if you talk to my dad, my father wouldn't tell you there's never been a time I'd ever called him, texted him, wrote him where I've been scared and I said, but daddy, I'm alone over here. No, I'm a grown man. I expect to be alone. I expect to be fucked up. And I expect to work my fucking way out of it and to make sure that that mistake doesn't happen again. In Europe, continental Europe doesn't even have that understanding of independence. See, there's a reason why Independence Day is so important in North America, because the vast majority of the rest of the world doesn't even grasp the concept of independence. See, independence does not mean, yeah, we get to wear Gucci and look cute, but as soon as we need help, we need to go beg somebody for something. That's not what independence means. Independence means you will go sleep under that bridge if you got to. You will go out there and just starve if you have to, because you're independent. And you're not running around begging nobody for no fucking money every 5 goddamn seconds, because you're a grown-ass man. See, and that's how Trump walked up in there and treated him. You got to put your big boy pants on, bro. We done gave you money and weapons for 3 years, and you still ain't got shit. It's over. Trump came in there like daddy, who put his foot down and said no. And all of Europe needs to hear that, because all of Europe is essentially America's kid. And all of Europe needs to hear that. Donald Trump came in there and said, no, son, it's been enough. It's time for you to go out there and grow up. But Danny, I need more money. I'm alone. No. It's for your own good. You need to go out there and become a fucking man. But Daddy, I need more money because I'm alone. I'm scared and the bully's gonna beat me up. Well, look, that's between you and the bully at this point. I done gave you money, resources, protection, all this for years, and you still in the same exact goddamn spot you was from day one. You're fucking up. Period. You have to accept being alone. That's the only way you're going to grow at this point. You have to accept being alone. But that's the exact reason why continental Europe cannot grow, is because they cannot accept that loneliness of true independence and being alone. So they always got to knock on each other's door. Hey, can you help me, please? I broke my finger. Oh, but you have to help us. You have to. No, we don't. I don't got to help you. Why you? I might choose to help you, but I don't have to do anything. And that's how Donald Trump rolled up in there. We didn't have to, the U.S. didn't have to do anything, especially for Ukraine. The only reason America did anything for Ukraine was because Russia did something to Ukraine. If it had been any other country that did that to Ukraine, America wouldn't even have cared. But the fact that it was Russia that did that, that's why America got interested in it. It's not about your people and being righteous and all. And like I said, and now Trump even hit it on a more human level. He said, look, your people are dying. Like I said from day one, your people are going to get slaughtered. Because it's clear they don't have any training. They was just some regular old motherfuckers working regular jobs. You trapped them in the country, made it illegal for them to leave because you were so pathetic at making a military. Now you got Poindexter out there holding an M16. with a week of training. But he got on Gucci and Louis Vuitton. The fuck out of here. It's pathetic, man. It's absolutely pathetic. And Trump came in there like daddy. Trump came in there and said, no, son. Look, you can't win this. It's not in the cards, but you got to grow up. And I hope America pulls out of it. I really do. I hope America pulls out. I really do. I hope they do. Because they need it. Because if not, what's going to happen? Ukraine is going to keep begging for more money. They keep begging for more. And keep begging for more. And keep begging for more. But you have to understand, you have to help us. They keep begging for more. And keep begging for more. See what the Americans who are mad, and what the West is also forgetting too, or they just didn't know, was literally 2 weeks before that war happened. You Ukrainians on a whole, like we're literally the Mexicans of America at best, right? They didn't motherfuckers now don't want Ukrainians walking around in Czech Republic. The whole time they was out here, motherfuckers didn't want them out here. But the Westerners are completely confused on all of it. Like they just don't. All they see is Europe tied to Ukraine, and that's my land of heritage because it's a white wonderland. That's all they see in Ukraine, in Europe mostly. That's all they're seeing in it. That part of the population. I'm gonna say, because a friend of mine, he's completely like another friend of mine. He's a big white guy, and we were talking the last 2 days about it. And now he knows, like he gets it. Like, yeah, Ukraine's a piece of shit. We need to stop. Just don't even fuck with them. You know, as I told him, like I texted him on Instagram. I said, I am officially a Trump fan now after how he talked to Zelensky, and we've been talking ever since about it. But yeah. That Jesus Christ. So let's watch this. Let's watch this clip. That clip is like a 7-minute video.
He broken this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners.
Now, to be fair, I will say that Trump, he is a bit of a bully. He is arrogant, right? Like he is a bit of a bully. I'm not gonna ever, not admit that. He does, he is a bit of a bully and a bit arrogant. But at this point, you can't really blame him because it's been 3 years and 2 or 3 years now, and it's still okay. It would be the same thing like if you kept loaning somebody some money or some shit like that, and it's been years, and you looking for some results, and they still sitting over there fucked up. Right? It's just been too long, dude. Like, so in reality, you can't even blame Trump for coming off like that because Zelensky's just bullshitting too much now. He's bullshitting, right? So while Trump is a bit of a bully, I really can't blame him.
We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future.
Yeah, so with that statement, he was saying how America, we have the ocean, like, well, this is what I've always said too, is that the reason why North America was able to truly grow and develop is because we don't have any competition. We have an ocean east and west of us that separates us from any serious competition. Canada is pretty much just America 1.5, and anything south just can't even be a competition in North America. So North America, we don't have any direct competition, close. Overall speaking, we don't have it, versus let's say like a landlocked country or a country like Ukraine, who's got, most other countries on earth always have to worry about their neighbors, east, west, north, and south, like direct neighbors. So that usually slows their growth down a lot because they're always depending on each other to get along, to not get along, to set a team up, to not piss off the other one, this and that, right? So I get his point with that. Like, we have a nice ocean that keeps us in peace a lot easier. He's right on that.
God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very
you will
good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the
bad
very
position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From
it.
the very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a good
Brown,
position.
I
You don't
was
have
in
the
it.
cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards. But
cards.
right now, you don't.
I'm very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III.
what do you think
You're
about?
gambling with
What do you
World
think
War
about?
III.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
I'm very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting, have
today.
you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. You
See, look. Now that I'm watching again, America needs to just pull out and say fuck it, because at this point, like, he's just bullshitting. This is what that mentality does, right? And not just Ukraine, but it's like that mentality. Like, he's never really getting directly to a point. He's never actually going to. And people like to use, oh, well, it's not his native language. Even then, I can tell because I'm living in a country where they don't speak English as a native language. If they're going to say something direct, they're going to get directly to the point. He's bullshitting, dude. I think America should just pull out because he's just stealing all the money. Because here's the thing. The longer they going to sit down and talk to him, the more he going to sit up and just bullshit and bullshit and bullshit. But here's the sad part about his bullshit. Zelensky's bullshit is this. Zelensky's going to end up doing something real stupid. Mark my words. Zelensky's going to end up doing something incredibly stupid because Donald Trump is who he is, right? Everything that Trump says in this is a complete fact. It's true. Okay, maybe not 100%, but it's overall in the same. It's going in the right direction, right? At absolute minimum. But the thing is, the world just doesn't want to like Donald Trump. So people will sit there and just not like him because how he's talking and end up gassing up Zelensky's head even more to say, yeah, we stand with you. Trump's an asshole. Blah, 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 right? And Zelensky, look, but the key part that people don't remember is that Zelensky never had a fucking military, but he had Louis Vuitton. Priorities. See, just because, and that's the thing that I don't think the world is smart enough to get over, is that just because they don't like Donald Trump doesn't mean that Zelensky is coming from a completely responsible, righteous place from within his country, right? If these motherfuckers had all the time in the world to sit down and figure out how to get Dolce and Gabbana, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Porsches, and all that shit, go out. When I was in Kiev, I seen the most Porsches I had ever seen in my life. In Ukraine. I've been to Los Angeles. I've been to New York City. And the most Porsches I ever seen was in Kiev, Ukraine. These motherfuckers can figure out how to do all that. So how come they couldn't figure out how to do something responsible? You see? See that big hole? But guess what? You don't want to like Donald Trump. So Zelensky must be innocent and all that, right? The Ukraine must be innocent and all, yeah. And it can, Russia. They should have been trying to make them moves years ago, dude. Not wait until now and run around begging people for help. That's nigger shit. Sitting up, spending your whole paycheck on Gucci, but ain't got enough money to pay your electric bill. That's Ukraine. They sitting up wearing Louis Vuitton but can't pay their electric bill. Sitting up in the dark with their Louis Vuitton belt on. Can't even see it. But they got it on. It's shiny. When I shine my cell phone light on it. This belt sure is shiny, isn't it? It can't even pay their goddamn electric bill.
The country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No.
Can
You've
I
done a
answer?
lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
Yes.
I know.
You're not winning.
know.
You're not winning this.
I.
You have a damn
We-
good chance of
we are
coming out
staying-
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid
you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military equipment.
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave, but they had to use our military.
What about
if,
West
if you didn't
You
have our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
Yeah.
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course he has.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
And
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of
except
times,
that
thank
there.
you.
Look, again, after you giving them so much money. Okay, let's say let's say America didn't even give them $350 billion. Let's say America gave them $100 million, just out of thin air, right? That's not $20, dude. And you still sitting up on this. Yeah, we heard in Russia. They said we'd only make it 3 days, and we still here. Yeah, because you begging for money. Let's be real loud and real clear. Ukraine did not last this long in war. America funding Ukraine lasted this long in war. Right? He's bullshit. He's bullshitting, dude. He's bullshitting. At this point, look. At this point, if I was president, look, just pull him out. Just, okay. You won't be like that about it? Pull him out. It's been 3 years. We done helped y'all out, talk to you, we entertain you, and all this shit like that. Right? We're taking in your immigrants in America if you come here. We doing all this, and you still sitting over there in the same dumbass boat with no growth. And you still sitting around begging for more money. You ain't done nothing. You ain't trying to make no deals with Russia. No serious deals, right? I'm done. Just pull them out. Because you so smart, then be smart. Go over there and be smart. Ukraine is, Ukraine is poor for a European country, yeah. And there's a reason for that. That's not by accident either. There's a reason for that. Okay. Ukraine is poor, but Ukraine is also extremely corrupt. Okay. Ukraine was always known as one of the top corrupt countries in the world. And that's another thing people just immediately forgot when they seen white people in problems. Okay. Ukraine is extremely corrupt. I said, when I was out there, it's disgusting when you walk up the street and see these luxury stores and you see literally homeless families sitting outside the front of them. And not only that, that was the first time I'd ever experienced where a homeless, if they see you and they think you got some money, you can watch them sit down and talk to their kids and point over to you, and they telling their kids what to go say to you. And they come up and try to speak some English like that to try to get some money while you sitting outside trying to eat some pizza. They will sitting outside of Gucci. See, they ain't putting that on CNN. Thomas Sowell ain't talking about that shit. Thomas Sowell, CNN, these motherfuckers ain't bringing that. ABC, CBS, they not putting that shit on. You don't see that. All the world seen was white people in trouble, and the world came running. Where? Over there? Okay. The world came running for that shit. And they took all their money. Dum-dums. They took all they dum-dum money. It's gone. Where? All them American dudes, they go, yeah, dude, I want to go out. Let's look that silly shit up. America. Who went to Ukraine to... This is the most pathetic shit. This is so pathetic, dude. This is so absolutely pathetic. U.S. vets fighting in Ukraine, the war Russia. This is so pathetic. Americans are going over there to go fight for Ukraine. Look. It's absolutely pathetic. That is gross, and it's disgusting. Because these same Americans were not going to any of those other countries with conflicts. No. Them American vets, they going over to Ukraine and hope they can slide into some Ukrainian pussy and come out with a wife or some shit like that. That's why they going over there. And the Ukrainian women know it. I remember that one Ukrainian girl I know. Oh, she would go off on America, like in text messages with me. She was saying how she, because she was a tour guide, and she goes, yeah, I got another batch of fat Westerners to pay me to talk to them and all that stuff. Oh, they know, them Ukrainian women know the game, dude. They are not stupid. You are not pulling fast ones off on them. All right, all them Ukrainian women know why all these men went over there to go fight. Okay, and why why these same men, these army vets and all that, they went to go help Ukraine. See, they not going to Africa to go help out, or Syria, no shit like that. They're not going out their way in droves to go out there. Because they want them white women. That's why. They trying to go out there and get that white. Where? Dude, I put my house up for sale. Dude, I put my house up for sale. I sold my car. So, because I wanted to go fight for a cause, dude. Bullshit. And Ukrainian whores know it, dude. They fucking know it. You're not tricking them. No. You're tricking yourself. It's pathetic. It's completely pathetic. JM, Eastern European women are the best at finessing men. Oh, of course, dude. And it's known over here. It's known. See, that's why you don't get a whole lot of Germans and French and Italians going over there to do that. You ain't getting a lot of that going on. You ain't getting no Swiss. You see, Swiss guys ain't going. See, it's going to be them dumbass Americans and Canadians going over there doing that. And I'd say most Canadians are pretty hip to that too. I would say mostly it's going to be Americans that are going to, because those are the only ones dumb enough to think they're pulling a fast one, that nobody sees what they really trying to do. See, these motherfuckers was not jumping at the chance to go fight and they not jumping at the chance to go fight Boko Haram. How come these motherfuckers ain't gonna, they not going down in droves to go fight this shit? If I pronounced it right. Yeah, they ain't going down to Nigeria to go fight this shit. Leave them niggers to go kill themselves. I don't want that nigger pussy. They left them they gonna leave them motherfuckers to die. Oh, shit. I already took it off. They ain't going out there to fight Boko Haram and these motherfuckers. They ain't doing, They ain't going out there selling their houses to go out there and fight to fight against that shit. They'll turn the channel when it comes on TV. But they'll sell their house to go for the chance to go get them a Ukrainian woman and mask under. Yeah, we gonna go fight. We gonna go fight. Yeah, bro, we gonna go fight. American fighters are dying in Ukraine. Yeah, they dumb enough to go out there and die for that shit. That sounds about right. More than 20 Americans are missing in action on the front lines in Ukraine. That's wild. And you think they pulling a fast one. They think they don't know. They think, yeah, nobody knows what I'm really doing. Italy already said they ain't sending no troops. Yeah, because they know the game. See, here's the thing. See, and I was telling my dad this, like, Europe, now when it comes to Ukraine, Europe knows the game. The only reason why politically any country is going to side with that shit is because it's the same situation like how Hungary tried to side with the whole taking in Ukrainians after the war. They was just trying to get the money, dude. That's all that was. So any country in Europe is always going to promote, like, yeah, we'll take in the refugees and all that. We'll help them out. Yeah, we stand with you, blah blah. Because that's a political move to get more aid money from either another rich European country or just America flat out. One or two. That's all that is. These motherfuckers don't care at all. I mean, you do have some Europeans that do care about it. It definitely is. It is. I'm not gonna act like it's not. It is a thing. Like, there are some Europeans who are just like humanitarians about it. You know, they don't want people, to die, and I get that, right? That's real shit. Like, I don't want anybody to die. I don't want that. And I'm not trying to push that at all. But what I'm trying to say is that whole political context of it. No. And see, that's the other part that Americans are severely confused. See, like I said, the common anger about the situation is coming from two completely different viewpoints. From just speaking from within Europe and from America, it's coming from two completely different perspectives, and they're accidentally agreeing on surface levels of shit. And but neither side really understands that the other one is on surface level with it. Like neither side really gets it, but they just kind of come together to just kind of like spiral into this unified anger, right? East Bloc has always been, and now that's one thing that Thomas Sowell did say, that like Thomas Sowell's good until he starts talking about actual interpersonal relations, then he's a complete idiot. But this is one thing where Thomas Sowell was completely right on. That whole Eastern Bloc had very low education rates for a long, all the way up to Russia, because they had very little access to water. And once you break off people from water, education rates will generally usually plummet if they don't have readily access to water. Historically, and that whole Eastern Bloc was always like that. Thomas Sowell said that they had the same, the Eastern Bloc all the way up to Russia, like all of that area had the same literacy rates as Africa on a whole average, and that makes sense. That it completely makes sense. Like there was no difference in that, in the literacy rates between the two. And then like with Africa and like with Eastern Bloc is like, yeah, the very few who you will get who will be really good at whatever, electrical engineering, whatever. Well, if they get really good, they're just gonna leave the country and go work somewhere else and get great wages. So like the people are like eternally stuck being stuck a lot of times in these places. Like they can't get out. Until now we have technology and things move faster, so there's a better chance of getting out now. But historically speaking, you're pretty much just stuck for the most part. He completely misread the room and thought he was still viewed as a hero of Kiev. No, you blew that when you campaigned for Kamala at munitions factory in Pennsylvania. But yeah, he just gonna keep it. Yeah, so we gonna finish this because I'm ranting too much.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards. Thankful. You're buried there. You're
Okay, now what Trump means is you're not being thankful. What Trump means by you're not being thankful, it doesn't mean saying thank you. Okay, what Trump means by saying thank you is, look, you got to start making some moves. See, and this is another big misunderstanding, in my opinion. I'll say it. I'll openly add in my opinion. When Trump is saying you're not being thankful, okay, you're not being thankful is like, let's say you have an employee, right? And let's say they gotta stand on their feet all day at work, right? And you as the boss, you come in and you give them a little more money for standing on their feet all day, and then you give them like good shoes and a good mat to stand on, right? And then they take it and they still do this like literally the same quality work for years after that. They're not improving, they're not doing anything. If anything, they're lagging behind and asking for more shit. See, it's not that the person didn't have to actually say thank you. The action said thank you. They're not coming out and giving you anything, like literally nothing in return for that. Nothing. Now, Ukraine is a poor country overall speaking, so Ukraine will never be able to afford to pay any of that money back to anybody on earth. That money literally disappeared from the second Zelensky clicked accept. He was on his little laptop, and that motherfucker clicked accept. That money was gone. Because that's how niggers move. Black, white, it don't matter. That's how niggers move. As soon as he clicked that button, accept, that money was gone. Period. That shit was gone to thin air. Period. That's Negro shit. I know Negro shit. I have family that's on Negro shit. I know Negro shit and this is Negro shit. But yeah, but I don't know. Well, yeah, that's Negro shit. Trump, you wasting your time even talking to him. Because you will never get anywhere. It's Negro/feminine is what that is. Oh, a child. A child. The only people who do these kind of things are women, children, and that hood Negro shit, trashy shit. For grown ass men will be like, yeah, like, look, I apologize, like we're fucked up. What can I do to a man? Here's the thing: when approached like that about a deal like this, a man would sit there and just say, yeah, we fucked up. What can we do to fix it? Whatever you want to do to fix it, we'll do it. Because here's the thing. Let's be real about it. If it weren't for America, Ukraine would not even be there right now. It would be gone. Okay, I was telling my spouse and I was telling my dad this. See, if this was the year 1925, when that next map revision came out, right? The updated world map got released, and we in the year 1925, we would have opened that new map release and looked at the country and said, "Oh wow, that's odd. That used to be Ukraine, but now it says the Republic of Russia. That's odd, isn't it?" Oh, I guess that's it. And that just would have been it. Nobody would have said anything. Nobody would have known. None of that. Right? If America wasn't in there to help them. Right? It just would have been gone. So here's the thing. At this point, Ukraine got to start coming up off something. They got to start making a move, a genuine effort and a move. Because just sitting there, just relaxing and just receiving free aid to fight is not cutting it anymore. It's old, dude. It's not working anymore. You made no progress. Absolutely none. None.
People are dying. You're running low on soldiers. Listen, you're running low on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing. And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
With guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't with me. That wasn't with me. That was with a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person. That was with Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards.
Yeah.
But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry, here.
It's going to be a tough deal to make. Because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do you do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See, and it's another woman bringing some shit like, okay. It's not about if Russia can possibly break it. It's the fact that Ukraine has just been sitting in this position for too goddamn fucking long and not made a goddamn move like a grown ass man. That's the problem. Russia can just say fuck it and be like, yeah, fuck the ceasefire. We gonna like just rape and murder all y'all. They can do that, right? And I completely agree with Trump on that. That is okay. It is a pot, but it's a what if. At this point, Ukraine is not okay. Ukraine is not shitting, so they got to get off the pot. Okay, you sit on the pot too long, Ukraine. You got to either shit or get off the pot. You just sitting there for too long. That the core problem is Ukraine is sitting there taking too much goddamn time and money from people. That's the problem. Now, once Ukraine makes a move, now we can start to do other shit and come to other agreements and thoughts. But Ukraine is sitting there. They're sitting in the same goddamn spot. They not moving. They doing the same shit. Can you give us your money? We're alone. We're alone. Slava Ukraine, stand with us. You're just coming. Oh my God. We can't let our people leave. Blah, blah, blah. But they not progressing. There's no progression. They're sitting in the same goddamn spot. Okay, that's the problem. That is the primary problem. Everything else can happen as it happens, but you gotta move. Okay, it'd be like in a boxing match. All Ukraine is doing is just standing there and just getting punched. But you gotta help me. You gotta come and take the bruising down on my face, coach. Okay. And he just standing there getting punched. Look, the coach gonna say, look, dude, you gotta start bobbing and weaving and moving. If this was a boxing ring, Zelensky is just standing there getting punched in the goddamn. Well, not Zelensky. He's got his people out there doing, because Zelensky's not going out to that fucking field to go fight. He's gonna send some clown out there to go do it because he didn't have a military to start with, right? Or hope somebody else sends some clowns over there to go fight for him, because Zelensky's not going out there. His clowns are, but so Zelensky has his own people out there getting punched, shot up, beat up, killed, raped, murdered, and all that shit, right? For the last 3 goddamn years, and it's doing the same shit. They're not moving. And so at some point, look, Zelensky, you gotta move. You gotta make a move. You're fucking up. Period. Trying to come in on some of you feel the influence. Fuck that. Make a move, bruh. See, America is not on that woman European shit when it comes to making moves in the world. When it comes to, there's a reason why America is essentially Superman and the rest of the world is just living in Metropolis. There's a reason why that is. Because you got to start making some fucking moves. You got to do something. You're sitting there too long. All right. See, those little feminine games, you can do that with Europe. Oh, but you gotta understand, you should want to help. You could do all that shit with the rest of Europe, because they're on that faggot shit too. But see, you came to a big dog, Russia and North America, and both of them countries are gonna make some moves. They made a move on you, didn't they? Both of them did, and you still sitting there in a dainty dress, just waiting to pick a side. You sitting there like just undecisive, like a woman. Well, maybe you can feel what happens to me to you, so maybe you should want to come to help me out. Yeah. Oh, money, who cares about money? We just fighting a war. Don't you like my Gucci dress? Yeah, see, the men, Russia and America, came in there and made a move on you. Like I tell my spouse all the time, and she's starting to finally get it. I tell my spouse this all the time. I say, look, in the world, either you got to take control of your life or somebody else is going to take it for you. So you pick one. This is your life, and you only got one. For anybody listening, this is directed to you. This is your life. Either you got to take control of your life or somebody's going to take control of it for you. So you better pick one. Now, there's goods and bads that come with both. I'm not trying to say one is better than the other. But for some people will hear that and really it'll hit them. Like, am I even in control of my life? Now, to be real, nobody's really in control. But a sense of what I really mean, the initiation, the will to get up. You need if you don't have the willpower in your life, somebody will make your willpower up for you and tell you what to go do. Is that how you really want to live? Is that old saying, there was a dude eating some lentils, and one of the king's workers comes by and sees him, right? And he says, if you just worship the king, you wouldn't have to eat lentils. And the guy responds, he says, well, if I eat lentils, I don't have to worship the king. Two completely different mindsets, dude. Completely different minds. Now, there's good and bad. Again, there's good and bad that comes with both, right? And, you know, there's consequences that come from both sides. But those are two very different mindsets, right? And Ukraine is in that position now. Like, Ukraine has been able to sit down and be the money laundering country, one of the biggest money laundering countries of the world. Ukraine was able to sit down and escape with that, escape on that, right? And they were able to kind of sit down and relatively relax. Now, once you get out of Kiev, it gets rough. When you get to Kiev, it's pretty together. But when you get out of Kiev, that's like, the motherfuckers, like I say, Europe is what they think Africa is from the movies and all that shit. It's rough. I know, because I was there. Remember the first bus stop I seen, or the first just bus in the city I seen. I'm like, this motherfucker don't even look like it should be running. And this was in Kiev. I remember the first bus. That thing looked like something from a destruction derby. And that was a bus. With the city. And I seen a bus stop. I wouldn't sit at that bus stop. They ain't like it won't even stand up. It was like a roof on it. Hey, D, I told my ex-girlfriend the same thing you told your girl. I was like, you're happy because you're miserable. The next day, she went back to Colorado. I don't know whether it was the way I said it to her. Does it take a certain man to tell her? Well, it depends on you where you was really standing with her. Maybe she was already talking to another dude there. You never really know, honestly. You never really know. But that is a truth. A miserable woman is a happy woman, and a happy woman is a miserable woman. That's just a fact. But also, like I said, and yours, like, she could have already been talking to somebody the whole time and was like really looking for a reason to leave, or, you know, anything. You just never know with women. There's no way to tell. But yeah, back to Zelensky. You got to make a move, dude. It's been too long. It's just been too long. You're going to start getting kicked out, ignored. It's like the only reason Zelensky's held on this long is because he's white and he has Europe on his forehead. That's it. If it was 5 feet outside of continental Europe, he wouldn't have got 20% of the support. Period. If you take away those two factors, wouldn't have got 20% of support, or in any form, financial, media, none of that.
What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And yeah. I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out...
And the people are very brave. Let's be real about that. Okay, I commend Trump for trying to end it on a good note, but let's be real about the people are really brave. When that war started, all the people literally ran away from the country. The highways were so packed that it took them hours just to get out the country because the highways were so packed when that war started. Them people were not there. There was no bravery in the country. Let's be completely honest and completely clear about that. Because I remember when that happened. Every Ukrainian was like, we leaving. Right? And they don't have a military to speak of. The reason, and to back that statement up, is because Zelensky made it illegal for all men to leave the country, so they had to fight. That's not bravery. That's imprisonment. Okay. That's not bravery. You see, you understand me? See, bravery is choosing to go join the military. You just walking around chilling and you be like, I'm gonna go, okay. I mean, even though you're doing it for money and all that shit, you're still going out to go on your own accord. Okay. If your country makes it illegal for you to leave that country and you now have to fight or go to jail, that is not bravery. Okay. That's scared threatening at this point. That is not bravery. I commend Trump for trying to, for ending on a good note on some level, but that's not even true. That is that is an actual fact. Let's go look it up real fast. Men forced to stay in. Yeah, this sounds real brave, doesn't it? I am not made for war. The men fleeing Ukraine to evade the conscription. Yeah, that sounds real brave, don't it? I am not made for war. That's real brave, ain't it? They literally could. Zelensky made them stay. Oh, maybe they open it up now. So some men are eligible to travel now, but at first, no. At first, they had to stay. That was wild shit. That's not bravery.
You'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. Yeah. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right. We'll see what we can do about putting it together.
I agree with him 1,000%. He's got to look. He got to make a deal. He's sitting around too long. You sitting because he's just sitting back taking all that money, and then buying a 2009 Honda Civic with it to say, yeah, this is what we're gonna use for war. Anyway, give us some more weapons. Like, no. Motherfuckers need Trump. I think Trump is exactly what the world needs right now. I still wouldn't vote for him just because I just don't like, because I know there's a lot of people who just aren't smart enough to take that and then be like, and then not want to go out and hurt a Ukrainian person, right? Like, I don't want to hurt a Ukrainian person or anything like that. But there's some motherfuckers can't tell the difference. And they'll be out like, fuck them Ukrainians. I'm going to fucking flatten their tires or something, right? And I'm not going to do anything like that. I wouldn't do anything like that to Zelensky at all. Even though, it's fucked up what he's doing. Knowing good, that man knows good and goddamn well he ain't got no military. He got scared boys out there who was librarians shooting guns, all right? He knows that shit. Dude, that's just not cool. It's not cool. I'm in Czech Republic. Ruin HD. I'm in Czech Republic. I'm in Prague. Ukraine should have been ramping up the last few decades, like Finland has. They knew Russia was about to come back. It was just severe. It was just severely irresponsible, right? It's just severely like how do you just sit up like that, right? How do you just sit up and do shit like that? You made damn sure well you can get money to go build a building up and all this shit. Like, you was doing all that, right? Literally, Ukraine, it was literally, when I was out there, majority of people that I met who were speaking English good, they were all people like me. Because at the time I got deported because Czech Republic's government is pathetic, and they deported me because of their mistake. because I went back to foreign police twice to make sure that the mistake was caught, and they never caught it. And then they ended up deporting me because of it, so I had to stay. But they seen that it was their fault, so they only deported me for 2 weeks. So I ended up staying a month in Ukraine. Right. But how do you just sit up and okay? Oh yeah, back to what I was saying. Most of the people who I met out there who were speaking English, whether they be French, Italian, it'd be not just Americans and British. It'd be like anybody out there, but mostly from rich Western countries, right? Be from they'd be like a rich dude, like who had some money from Italy, from an Italian and a French dude was sitting at this one table talking, and I ended up talking to them because they were speaking English, of course, and it just be guys from everywhere. One dude, he had worked for he was high up in John Deere, and he was telling me something about lawnmowers or something, but he was a high up person at John Deere, and it was always the same story. Ukraine, it was a perfect spot where you can just go to hide if you owe back child support or you got fucked up with taxes or whatever. That is where you go to hide out for months or years, and you'd be all right. Right, and it was always the same story. Everybody I met, it was some reason why they ended up in Ukraine. It's a money, and for most people, it's going to end up just being a money laundering place. Right. That's all it ever was. So how do you sit up and all that money disappears and you have luxury places to go buy shit, but you literally have no fucking military to protect you and your Gucci belt? How do you just live like that? Right. Well, okay, a big part of it is the sense of unification is just not on Europe as a whole. They just don't have a good sense of unification. I was laughing with the guy today, the guy who we were also laughing about when I said all Czechs would be speaking French if France put a multi-billion-dollar company. So culture's bullshit. I had him laughing. What was it? I forgot now as I was thinking about that French joke and we was laughing about that. Fuck, I forgot it now. Oh, it was a military. I said, and maybe I said it earlier in this, I can't remember if I said it in this live stream or not, but I said how Europe on a whole is so bad at unification that literally ROTC in North America would just annihilate all of Europe's military combined because they just can't communicate. Right now, for those who don't know what ROTC is the high school's military class you can take. And you put the uniform on. It was all black. I mean, because I was in ROTC for 2 years, and it's the high school military, and you practice marching and all that. So. And you practice I remember we had to practice with the gun and spin it and all that shit like that. We did all that in ROTC. And Europe's military is so pathetic on an entirety that you could take all the ROTC high school students just on the East Coast of North America and you arm them with the same guns that you armed all of Europe's military combined with the same guns, and the American military would annihilate. They would just annihilate Europe. Europe's military on an entirety is like comparing the NBA to the WNBA. Right? America is the NBA, Europe is the WNBA. You just can't compete. Period. Right? And there's no real argument. It's not like I'm bashing them. It's the reality. And with the WNBA, just a really good high school team could beat a good WNBA team, right? It's one of those things. And that's where Europe is with military, in the sense of unification, in the sense of innovating to produce something to compete on a worldwide level. They just don't have it, because they're just far too segregated, right? They're just extremely too segregated. And they're just too segregated. Like I said, if you took all of ROTC in North America, we call it ROTC, but you take all the ROTC, which is the high school military, and you give them M16s, and you give all the European grown men's military combined, and you give them M16s and 9mm and twice the ammunition, the American high school military would dominate them. because they just can't communicate very well at all. When I seen the military, I remember when I first came here, I had watched a documentary on the Czech military, and it was so pathetic, like unbelievable. I'm not saying all of them. I'm sure there's some good people in there who would do a good job, but on a whole, it was so bad. I literally could not believe my eyes. I was watching a documentary on their military here, on their TV, on TV here. It was so bad. I could not believe my eyes. So when I went to work, this is when I was working at that international company. I went to work and I was talking to the friend of mine who I took him to a brothel. His name was Eric, I think. He was American. And I said, do you know how the military is? And he just starts laughing because he knew what it was. Like, I didn't know yet. And he goes, yeah. He goes, window. It's not that American military is that good. It's that the rest of the world's military is that bad. And he put it all into perspective for me, right? Because I didn't know. I had no idea. I mean, like, the people were overweight. They just kind of like slouched over all the time when they even stood at attention. They just didn't even look like they had a sense of urgency in order to do shit, right? It was just pathetic. Now, the few military guys I've seen, they in person, they weren't like horrible, but I could still tell, like, I'm not saying I could beat up every military dude, but what I'm trying to say, I can tell just how they're walking, that, yeah, like, Russia could come here with 30 guys lined up in a row with water balloons filled with hot sauce, and Czech Republic would be immobilized in a day. Just immobilized. Like, they just couldn't fight back. Like, I can see it. Maybe not water, but I say if Russia came to Czech Republic with okay, I'll be more realistic, which is still gonna sound fucked up, but this is honest. Let's say I would say if Russia came to Czech Republic with about 500 people with super soakers with hot sauce. Not even like high grade hot sauce, like just regular old red hot. Czech Republic would be immobilized. It'd be over. By the time they figured out how to communicate something, look, they've been done took over the whole government. By the time they figured it out, it'd be done. It'd be gone. They'd be on the news. I'm like, yeah, we give up. Like, what? We just got communications going. Like, no, bro, just stop. Because America didn't come help us. Germany's supposed to come help us. That's it. It is. Condiment king, yeah, Jira, yeah. If you lined up 500 condiment kings, they would destroy the Czech military. They couldn't fight. Right now, just because of sheer numbers, like they couldn't do that with like all of Europe. Here's the thing, all of Europe, dude. Here's the thing, the communication and unification here is just so bad. Like the odds of even getting, let's say, like the German military, the Czech military, and the French military, like to operate in unison. That's just a joke. Like, you can't even take it serious. Like, the odds of getting like 3 different European countries to operate in unison towards a common threat in modern age times, America would have been flown in back, ate Thanksgiving dinner, came back, and they still couldn't figure it out. They still, well, I thought you was gonna be on 3rd Street at 3. Where y'all at? Germany, oh, we all act the ball. Where are you? France, they still be sitting them calling each other. What? America would have been in, fuck they bitches, and went back to North America. ate Thanksgiving dinner, came back, still looking for him. Where y'all at? Went to Show Park, fucked about nine different bitches. Went back to America, been like, yeah, these motherfuckers crazy. And then came back, and they still wouldn't have anything together. They still be sitting up like, yo, what the fuck? That fucking movie, and it is a movie, but it puts it in the great perspective. The reality of it. I think it was the Waterloo, that Battle of the Bulge, but it was a movie. And I might get some areas wrong, but the overall message, I'm going to get right, because I remember it. I think it was a German. The Germans was trying to take something over. I don't know. and the commander was on the field, and one of the commanders, like one of his subordinates, said, "Hey, sir, I need to talk to you," right? And they went to the room, and the dude he pulled out. He said, "Sir, like, yo, we got to make a move, and we got to make it now, because the Americans are here, and they ain't bullshitting, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, whatever, yeah, okay, we'll make moves." And then so the subordinate, he pulls out cake wrapped in a napkin. He goes, "Sir, look, this is cake." And he goes, "Yeah, it's a cake. So what?" He goes, "No, you don't understand. We are in the middle of fucking war, and the Americans had the extra time and resources to send a freshly made cake overseas in the middle of war. Do you understand what that means? That means these motherfuckers plan and think. We in trouble." Let me see if I can find that shit. It's gonna be over somewhere. It was Battle of the Bulge, cake scene. He said, "The Americans are thinking, homie. We can't." Yeah, it wasn't. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a real scene, but that theory is a worldwide theory. It is. So I shouldn't get copyrighted, because it looks like a whole bunch of other people put it up here. Here it is. Let's put this.
What is it?
Colonel, stragglers you've captured tell me that helpless American prisoners have been massacred.
Where?
Malmedy. And as senior officer, I cannot control my men unless I have your assurance they'll not be murdered.
No, this ain't the same.
That's
not the same. Let me see. Cake. It was. Oh fuck! I don't know. Was it this movie? I thought it was that movie. I forget. I don't know what movie it was. I thought it was that movie. I don't think it. Wait, oh shit. Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, so it says Battle of the Bulge. I can't find it. I don't know where to find it. Fuck it. Man, I'm joining late. I gotta watch the word. That's actually Batman. Okay, yeah, I'm trying to catch up. You can do JROTC in high. Yeah, okay, yeah. So I was doing JROTC in high school. I think I was in a Navy one. I was in a Navy one. American workers have been paying to protect Europeans while they take 20 days off per year. Yeah. Not even counting the military base. And see, this is another area that people don't really take into account, is military bases. And how much money that brings in for any country. Because So I probably won't be able to find what I'm looking for right now. But when these like military bases bring a lot of money in, a ton of money, and it's long lasting money. So when a country gets a military, especially an American military base, that is good money for that. And Germany has a ton of U.S. military bases. I think it's like 30, maybe 40. In Germany alone. Yeah, it's over 40 military base. Yeah. I want to say it was like 30 or 40. And that's just Germany alone. And see, this is what me and my students, they were talking about. I said, look, like Russia is just, okay, America really did far more damage into influence in Europe than Russia did. For real, it's just that America just, has better unified thinking for the future. Whereas like most other countries you're going to come across, they just don't have that same unified, innovative thinking for the future. So like, and I was telling my students today, see, the reason why Russia keeps failing at taking over Europe is because they keep making the same mistakes that Machiavelli talked about and Plato talked about. This shit was solved literally in 500 BC, which you have to do to take over a country and keep control. I want to say it was Machiavelli. I want to say it was, and you can like fact check it if you want, but I want to say it was Machiavelli went on about how the way you do it is, okay, if you go in, essentially what Russia keeps doing and keeps fucking up because for some reason they just don't learn from it, or just maybe just adds to the literacy rates that were like pushed on us that Russia supposedly has. But if you go to another country and you go in there and you try to change their rules and their culture and beat it out of them, well, like unless you like slaughter all their people and people don't know about it, like sooner or later, like the people are going to fight back and revolt. Like they're going to do it. Right. And that's what happened with the whole communism situation. Like anything that Russia would go out and take, they would go out and take it by force, and like clockwork, they end up losing it. Like clockwork, it's going to happen. And like I said, Machiavelli talked about this in the 16th, if I'm not mistaken, the 16th century. He came to that conclusion because that's what was going on in Italy at the time. Well, and him and Plato talks about this. How you take over a people and culture, you don't go there and change their rules. You go there, you send people there to live among them, right? Pretty much what Britain did to North America. You send people there to live among them. You don't change their rules. You don't force anything on them. You just live alongside of them. You sit down and chill, and you leave them there, right? You hang out with them, and if you can't put some type of a base, put a base there, something like that, and you just live there, right? Then before you get in being a friend with them, and that way you take them over. You end up taking them over. But you go in there like Russia and just beat them upside the head, they're gonna fight back in a record time, right? But and at this point, America essentially owns Europe because America pretty much owns Germany at this point. Once you look at this stat right here, that should tell you all you need to know. What's Wikipedia? Let's not use Wikipedia. So this is .org. See, America was able to do to Europe in what, 60 years, 50 years? Well, I say in reality, probably lesser years. America was able to do more in taking over Europe without Europe even fully realizing it than Russia's ever been able to do. And hold it, right? Ever. Because at this point, America essentially owns Germany. Let's just be 100% real about it. People don't like to hear that shit. They don't like to talk about it, but let's be real about it. America owns Germany, right? There's a reason why there's American military bases sprinkled in Germany, but you don't have any German military bases sprinkled in North America. See, that's no deal. It don't work like that. See, there's no French military bases sprinkled all up the East Coast of North America. You see that? There's no British military bases sprinkled all over Texas. Right? But American military bases are sprinkled all over the fucking west coast of Europe. You see that? America owns that shit. You want to know why I say they own it? Because let's say Germany fucks around. Because Germany is the only country over here that in any recent time had any courage to make a move. So if Germany even farts aggressively, America gonna be like, what? You know we got bases sitting down the street from your house, right? Huh? What? You want to start? You want to fight? Well, yeah, that's what I thought, bro. Better go over there, eat that schnitzel, and shut the fuck up. Russia can't do that. Russia do that, they gonna start a war with everybody. They don't want that. What's up, Dibs? Yeah, and Germany owns Europe. Germany owns continental Europe. If your country is using the euro, Germany owns you, and that's a brutal reality to face. All right. If your country, let me say it real loud, real slow. If your country is using the euro, Germany owns you. I would recommend you a great book to read. Is that literally called The Euro? It was written by a banker. I would recommend you read this book. If you do not believe me, that's a great place to start. I went off to read. This dude wrote about 3 or 4 great books that I actually got to. Read this book called The Euro. If your country is using the euro, Germany owns you. Make no mistake. Okay, and that's a brutal fact to face. Okay. Your country cannot get out of using the euro without being fined incredibly crazy fines. You are trapped. If once your country takes that euro, you are stuck under Germany's rule. Because Germany is now going to charge you for using the euro. And if you think you're going to give up the euro and go back to your own country, you're going to pay a fine, an incredibly crazy fine to get out of using the euro. So once you adopt that euro, you are Germany's property. And then after that, guess where it goes? Who has all the military bases in Germany? And that's your order of that's your hierarchy right there. So when people talk about something, we stand with Europe, we stand with Europe, we stand with Ukraine. Well, who is Europe standing for? Who was Europe standing with? Who's keeping Europe standing? Yeah, that takes thought. If your country is using, if you're using the euro, Germany owns you. There's no way out of that. See, there's a reason why mostly every other country that is using the euro, other than Germany, is in severe debt or they have severely awful unemployment rates, especially among people between the ages of 18 to 30. And I touched on this a while back. Let's do. This is a reliable website. They have a 22% unemployment rate. So can you guys see this? So this is Italy. Italy has a 22% unemployment rate for people between the ages of 15 and 24, 10% unemployment rate between 25 to 34. Now to put in perspective, 10%, this 10% unemployment rate right here, right? When America hit about 9%, that was like the biggest recession we ever had in America. When unemployment rate hit about 8, 9, 10% in the late 2000s. It hit around that. And people was jumping out of buildings. Italy lives like that. That's everyday life. Let's go to Spain. In 2023, from 25 to 29 years old, 15%, 30 to 34, 11%. See these unemployment rates? Like I said, in America, when we had just started hitting about 10, and that's when people were jumping out of buildings, killing themselves. If your country is using the euro, Germany owns you, and they're taking a good portion of whatever you're going to earn because you're using the euro. And the thing is, most Europeans don't even know that. But Americans are dumb. And most Europeans don't even know their own fucking situation. Right? But they know what to talk about politically. And don't even know their own goddamn situation. I would highly recommend this. I would highly recommend this author. Or pretty much any author that talks about the euro. Any author that talks about world finances, let them get on the topic of the euro, and they immediately just start. Yeah, they immediately go in on it. It's ridiculous. But with that being said, Germany owns you. But who owns Germany at this point? What can Germany really do? If anything pops off, the first people that's gonna get hit is Germany, because the bases are sitting right in there, multiple. Right? They the first ones that's gonna get it, because those are the first ones that's gonna have the courage to do something. So that's the first one you take out. What's up, Hunter? UAD, can you go in depth on how a man should carry himself in regards to self-respect and its impacts as a man? How can you go in depth on how a man should carry himself in regards to self-respect? I mean, self-respect. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is just not being, desperate. I mean, even though I'm not gonna say it's like bad to be desperate, because everybody goes through a feeling of being desperate, but just realizing when somebody doesn't want to talk, or like I said, like a woman if she just doesn't like you, then just let her go. For whatever reason, she just chooses she doesn't like you, because it's all a numbers game. That's all it is. It's a numbers and odds game. So I'm women or men, it doesn't matter. Friends, anything. Just understand, when it comes with a sense of self-respect, I think the biggest thing to really acknowledge is that everybody has their own life, their own struggles. Sometimes they just can't be everything that you want them to be at the time, because they're going through something. And I think it's a hard reality to face, because ultimately everybody wants to feel like they have like a safety net in a person. And if you want that, like it's hard to like also understand that whatever the safety net is, they got their own issues, right? And their own limits and problems. But in terms of self-respect, just the number one thing is just realize, like, sometimes it's best to just leave, just let some people just go in life, and they'll come back. Most times, most people, they'll come back. No matter how bad you pissed them off, whatever, they'll come back. If they don't, then be happy for them that they're happy out there doing whatever they want to do. Hope that they're as happy as they can be. I think that's the root of self-respect. I think it's like once you can truly respect others and not be desperate, I think that's the ultimate overall route. Because once people start falling into like Ukraine, like Zelensky. Okay, I'm live again. It just cut off. The Wi-Fi just cut off or something. But the biggest act of least self-respect and respect in the world is ending up being somebody, like in this context, like Zelensky with Trump, like just constantly begging people for money, expecting people to do something for you, expecting people to come give you something. If they don't, then they're mean and all this shit, or they're shitty. They could just be going through something or whatever. Ultimately, like, being more happy that they are just living. I think once that gets solved within a person, then they can truly go off and grow and develop in a far more healthy way. Because dependence is really not an attractive trait for an adult. For a kid, sure, but not an adult. No drift. I never think my streams go good. But thank you. I mean, hell, the city of London owns the U.S. with the Federal Reserve System. That's an intricate topic, and I'm not going to talk about that right now because it's 9:10. I'm just getting tired of talking. That's an intricate. That's an interesting. That's an intricate topic. And I will say I'm not an accountant, and I'm not an accountant. But from what I do know about it, that's a very interesting, intricate topic. Because it's not really so. Because here's the thing, like so I talk about Bitcoin a fair amount, right? And the reason why I'm not a fan of Bitcoin is because of this. Is because Bitcoin is okay. People say it's not backed by money, but Bitcoin's value is backed by money. Meaning, if you open that app up and Bitcoin plummets to like $2 a share, and you was in there when it was like 60,000, well, you cannot get that money back in any kind of way. It's gone, right? Whereas like the US dollar, let's just use the US dollar. I don't mean to focus, I'm just using any form of currency, the euro, whatever the fuck, the pound, anything, the Czech crown, whatever. Okay. Formal forms of currency in reality don't even operate off of any Federal Reserve or anything anymore. The reason I say this is this. Okay. The difference between something like Bitcoin and the difference between Bitcoin. I'm just using Bitcoin as an example. Any cryptocurrency, and just to make very clear the realities of currency, right? Let's say if tomorrow you open up your, like I said, let's say tomorrow you open up your app and whatever crypto, and you look in there, and whatever crypto you had just plummeted to nothing. You have absolutely no chance of getting anything now because that crypto is based off of a dollar or crown, euro, whatever, right? Now, let's say the US dollar plummets. Let's say it completely plummets. Well, the US dollar, or just a dollar, a buck, whatever you want to say, I don't know, a dollar, euro, pound, whatever. That is more of a religion. It's a belief instead of a number now. In terms of faith in buying something, meaning, what's to say right now that the U.S. dollar is completely worthless, right? And it's let's say it's just completely worthless. Well, you can still go to somebody who doesn't know yet and still buy shit. And there's a chance that other people just may not ever even pay attention, and they'll just keep taking the money, whatever, and just keep taking the cash. Here's $5, $20, $15, whatever the fuck. You can still go out there and spend it because there's still a belief attached to the piece of paper. It's a belief attached to it. There's no belief attached to Bitcoin for real. Bitcoin is attached to the belief in the dollar, right? So the dollar is still more valuable and still has a higher chance of being able to get something for it if the euro, dollar, whatever you want to use in a place where if that crashes, well, all the people out there working may not know yet, and they'll just keep on going and exchanging the money for, however long, a week, a month, a year, a decade, and they'll just never know. For all we know now, in reality, all currency could be completely, what all is really worthless. It's all just based off shiny rocks. But let's say it all could be worthless now. But if people just keep believing that it's worth money, they'll just keep spending it. And they'll just keep exchanging here or there. It's no longer really based off of shiny rocks and reserves and bullshit. It's more of a belief system at this point. Now, I'm not saying it's completely that, but you see what I'm saying? Like, there's a belief attached to it, right? Like, if you go to another country and that person does not know that, $5 equals roughly €5, and they just believe $5 equals, $20. Well, that's that person's belief, and they'll make a deal with you like that, and they'll get screwed. They'll get more money or less money depending on who they know to trade it with. Whereas on the flip side, Bitcoin doesn't have anywhere near that same versatility. In reality, it's strictly tied to whatever currency you're using, and after that, it's nothing. You can't get that back. You can't trick somebody into doing something with it because it's just gone, right? Why do you think a lot of young Americans love either socialism or communism? Because because it's the same reason why I think it was like 1 in 2 people in ex-communist countries, once they get older, they end up wanting socialism and communism back. And just here, just so you know, I'm not like pulling your chain. Let's go. One. But it was like a certain age group. It was over, like once you get to like over like 60 years old or something like that, they would want communism back. Let's see. So yeah, so only 20% of Czechs would accept the communist returning to government, and that was in 2008. There was another study I had come across where once they were to get older, the older populations generally want some form of communism and socialism back. And it's the same reason why the younger populations want it, is because they both think that they would just be entitled to a job, which they would. But there would be no difference in pay and all that. But everybody in the middle doesn't really want that, because they have, high hopes for the future and, make more money. So like most people who are like, especially if they have education and they're like over the age of 25, 30, and if they're already doing good in the field, they don't want communism, right? Or socialism. It's always the people who are getting older and it's harder for them to find a job, or they're younger and it's harder for them to find a job, for 2 different reasons. But it's still, the common core is they have a difficult time finding employment. So those 2 groups will usually have a higher rate of wanting to be just essentially hand gifted a job, because it would solve a lot of their issues. Isn't crypto a stock? No. Well, in theory, a stock would be the same thing. Okay, in that theory, a stock and crypto is generally the same thing. It's however much money people put into it, that's how much money is going to be worth. And if everybody takes all their money out, then it's not worth anything. It's that same overall theory, but no, they're 2 completely different things. From what I think an argument could be made, is essentially a stock market. It's essentially the same thing at the core. Yeah, I can see that. What little bit I know about it, I will add, but it's in theory, it's relative. It's the same shit. But yeah, no, yeah, with the communist, yeah, the younger population, they're gonna want that, especially nowadays. But yeah, if you really think about how pathetic like we are as humans, I think about this lately, like when I walk down the street or something, and like I think about just little things like this, like all of this society was made off of labor, but all this labor was paid for through a shiny rock. Like think about how dumb that is. Like a shiny rock is what got all this made. That rock sure is shiny. I'll do some work for that. Like, that's absolutely pathetic. Like, think about how dumb we are. Think about that. How dumb we are. Like, it doesn't do anything on its own. It's not a genie, a bar of gold doesn't do anything. It just sits there. And humans we're so stupid. We went, wow, that show is shiny. How much work would you want me to do before you give me that? Do we work 40 hours a week for that? Okay. Okay, boss. That's dumb. That's incredibly stupid. And we do it. Well, I don't. I'm going to take some benefits from the government, but from the military. But that's incredibly dumb. It's incredibly stupid. It's unbelievably stupid. If you really think about like financial development, right? It's shiny rocks, shiny minerals, shiny rocks. That's all it is. It's a shiny rock. Better do some work for that, because it's shiny. Why? Because it's shiny. Because it's shiny. That's why. Think about how dumb that is. How unbelievably dumb and pathetic. It's just so stupid to me. If we didn't pay with the shiny rock, then most of us would be, yeah. Yeah, if we didn't pay with the shiny rock. Yeah, I completely agree, yeah. But we were able to form societies, full-fledged, higher population societies off of a colorful shiny rock. It was just in the ground. It was just literally just in the ground, right? It was no work to make it. It was just in the ground. Just dig it up. Right? That's unbelievably pathetic. Now I can see if like the technology, the full technology of like a smartphone would like grow on a tree, and then we build our economy off of that. I can see that because like a smartphone, it would grow on a tree and it would actually genuinely do something that would be amazing without it, right? I can understand like let's say if an iPhone just literally grew on a tree, that would make more sense in trade. You know what I mean? Like I think that would be more respectable. But a shiny rock, bro, it just is a fucking rock. It just sat there and was shiny. And motherfuckers really said, yeah, I need to go do some work for that. You dumb is a rock. What's up, Ivy Bo? It's like I just think it's just dumb. I think it's unbelievably stupid. Another thing I tell actually because I got to teach a woman tomorrow at another bank. This is the woman. She's a director. She's cool too. She's supposed to lend me her tennis racket because she plays tennis. I said I want to learn how to play tennis. It goes, oh, I'll bring you a tennis racket tomorrow. One of her old ones. Hopefully she remembers. I don't know. Maybe she remember. Maybe not. But I tell her like, look, like, cause in my old, cause I'm going to another. Oh, I never told you guys I'm going to another profession. Cause I'm tired of doing therapy work. I'm just completely done with it. I probably won't do it ever again. But I was telling her, I said, look, like if you like in the world, like the world is so congested. Like this is another thing I think about a lot. Like the world is so congested with so many people and so many issues that people have. I told her, I said, if you really think about it, and I think Plato said this too. No, was it Marcus? Was it Marcus or no Aristotle? I can't think of who said it now. But they said the same thing. They said, look, Socrates was the one who said it. He said, nobody walks around. Okay, if everybody knew what to say to get whatever they wanted, they would just do that, right? If everybody knew, like, so nobody's really walking around trying to be rejected or trying to do anything. But I think as humans, we forget that, right? We forget that everybody on earth is just trying to do the best they can with what they have and make whatever they want to work, right? So nobody's walking around trying to be rejected for whatever, right? If everybody if 20 years ago, if I had known what to do to get a blowjob from Halle Berry, I would have just done it. And it's not even to say that as offensive or anything. It's just the reality. Like if I would have known if I would have known what to say and what to do to make Halle Berry excited to give me a blowjob 20 years ago, I would have done it like that. But I don't know what to do. Right? And this is why I try to tell my girl, I tell her, I say, look, like when a guy hits on you, like he's not trying to be mean, like he just seeing you and he wants to see your body move a certain way, right? Now he's not trying to like hurt you or anything like that. And if he knew what to say, he would just say that exact thing to get you to like him, right? And it's really a sad reality if you really think about it. Like the entire world's like that because we can't read each other's minds, right? We don't know, so everybody's just walking around playing a guessing game. It's really quite stupid. Like like if you really think about it, like everybody's just walking around playing a guessing game, right? But then like person A doesn't know that they have resting bitch face, and they don't know. and somebody might like them, but that person's too afraid to like a lot of them incel dudes, the dude who had the manifesto. Like I guarantee there was like 5 girls who wanted him, but he didn't know. What was the dude that the first incel dude? What was it? Guy, he had a manifesto. Because he had the Elliot Rogers, was it him? Yeah, him. That dude had at least 2 or 3 bitches that was like, oh, I really like him, but he didn't know, right? Every guy has some girl that be like, every guy on earth has a woman that would not mind having sex with you, right? But she don't know how to, very few women have the courage or initiative to walk up and initiate it. So she's gonna wait for you to just come over to try and wait for you to try a perfect way on top of that. But like this dude, he had a nice car. He was going to a nice school. He came from a family with money. He wasn't terrible looking or anything. He was a little weird, but I mean, who isn't, right? I would guarantee you, he had at least 2 or 3 girls who would not have mind having sex with him or actually liked him, and he just never noticed them. I guarantee you. I remember when I was in college for the first degree, and no, I was on the second degree, and I because I was working as a tutor at this point in college, and this girl, it was this black girl, and she was cute. I remember I went to go to academic advice, and she just kept sitting next to me, and this girl was so in love with me, right? She knew exactly where I was all the time. And she goes, yeah, she tells me exactly the buildings I would be in and the times I would be in. I was like, how did you know that? I'd never seen this girl a day before in my life. She goes, oh yeah, I used to always see you and blah, 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 blah. And that girl was in love with me. Like she was just like, it was one of them things. And I'd never seen her before. I swear to you, I'd never seen a girl date, but she knew exactly where I was at all the time. And we exchanged numbers and all that shit, man. Like, but I never knew she existed for years. She knew who I was. The guessing game can make it fun, though. If we just knew everything on what to do in life, it would be boring. But yes, humans do pick the path of least resistance by default. Yeah, and that's what Alan Watts, he said that. He brings this up in one of his speeches. It's on YouTube somewhere. Any Alan Watts speech is great. I recommend any Alan Watts speech. But he says how like pretty much like we're living in heaven, right? Like if we were given the choice, we would end up living in heaven like right now. Like this would be heaven, would be not knowing, because he said like, if let's say if you were given the option to do whatever you wanted for like a lifetime, of course the first lifetime you would do anything you wanted, right? You would be able to make, eat, fuck, whatever you wanted, right? And he said, like, yeah, and then after that lifetime was done, you'd be like, yeah, well, but I need... Or a Twilight Zone episode was exactly this. My favorite Twilight Zone. It's called A Nice Place to Visit. It was exactly about the same scenario. After a while, you would look up and go, that was fun, but I want a little adventure. I want something to happen that I don't know is going to happen. So first you would start off with, in the second lifetime, you would start off and you would have just a little bit of, things you didn't know, right? And after that would end, you'd go, well, I've already had everything I wanted. I've already had a little bit of adventure. I think I want a little more adventure, right? And you would keep going until you would end up to the position you're in now, to where you just don't know anything and everything would be essentially a gift. A gift, a wrapped up gift. You just don't know what's in it. My favorite Twilight Zone episode is it's called A Nice Place to Visit. I would highly recommend everybody watch that episode. Another favorite episode was called The Chaser, I think it's called. Yeah, this is it, The Chaser. I would highly recommend every man or woman watch this. between a nice place to visit, I'll pull that up too. Yeah, that's my boy. That's Fats. The dude laughed. He called him Fats. You see that? Yeah. So between this episode and this episode, I think those two episodes would single-handedly be enough for any man in development. I think those two episodes would be enough. That dude is just like so in love with that girl, and the girl just doesn't care for him at all, right? She just doesn't care, and he's just like insanely in love with her. And okay, I still recommend everybody watch it. I'm gonna spoil it now. What happens in the episode is it starts out with him like at a payphone, and this is like in like the fucking like 40s or something. He didn't have cell phones or anything like that. He's at a payphone, and he's just wasting money trying to call her, and she's not picking up. She's literally sitting like right next to the bed, and she's not picking up the phone because she knows it's him calling. And he's like, oh my God. And she finally picks up, and he's like, oh my dear, I love you. I love to hear you. And he's just like hopelessly in love with this woman who wouldn't give a passing thought about him, right? Well, when he's down, he's completely down on his luck. He's just like, I just want her to love me. I want her to love me. How come she won't love me? He goes to a man who sells love potions. And he goes, because the funny part is, he goes, I just want my Lila. And the guy selling love potions, he's completely bitter at this point because he knows the game. He goes, oh, let me guess, you're Lila, you're Sarah, you're Susan. It's always a Sarah. It's always a Lila. It's all worthless. He's like, bitter because he knows the game at this point. He's older, and he sells love potions and he knows how this works. He goes, here's a love potion. I got my cologne sitting right here. So I'm gonna use a bottle. He goes, here's a love potion. It's tasteless, odorless. You just mix it in one of her drinks while she's not looking, and she'll drink it and she'll fall madly in love with you. I guarantee it. He goes, how much is it? He goes, $1, and it's not even worth that. Right? He goes, well, if it's $1, I might as well try it. Right? This is before the days of it being seen as like spiking her drink or something like that. They didn't, before all this shit came out. So he buys the love potion. It was clear, odorless, tasteless liquid. He spikes her drink with it. She falls in love with it. Right? And she falls in love with him the exact way that he was in love with her. Oh my God, dear, I just love you. I love to be near you. I love to hear your voice. Can I get you some coffee? Can I massage your feet? And not long after that, he sees how disgusting being like that is. He just can't deal with it. It's too much. She's, oh dear, I love you. Can I just be near you for 5 more minutes? And she won't leave him alone. The same way he was with her. And it's a real reality check, right? To see how pathetic he was the whole time. So he goes back to the guy who sells him the love potion. He goes, look, is there something you could do? Like, she's beautiful and she loves me. She worships the ground I walk on, but... And he goes, but it's too much, I know. Like, all that shit, right? He goes, well, look, I just can't do it. It's just, she loves me too much and it's not comfortable. I can't do anything. And he sees like, oh, like that's what I was to her. That's how pathetic I was, right? So he goes, okay, well, I have a potion that'll make her fall out of love with you like that. He goes, okay, how much for it? He goes, $1,000. $1,000. And this is like 1940s. That was like the equivalent of like 14 million. You know what I mean? Like some shit like that. He goes, $1,000. But he was a rich dude. The guy, the dude in this picture, he was a banker or something like that. And he goes, $1,000, that's a lot of money. And so he buys it because he can't deal with the woman being that in love with him. He can't deal with it. It's just too much. See, being put on a pedestal is not attractive. If you're the one being put on a pedestal, it's not attractive. Most men don't know how that feels, though. So they have to learn, like, in hard ways. Women are used to dealing with it, but men don't know what that is. So that's why men continuously do it in life. Because men very rarely get to see what that feels like from that position. So he comes home and spikes her drink with the chaser. The chaser, that's why it's called the chaser, because he spikes her drink with the chaser to make her fall out of love with him. Well, she goes, I'm pregnant. And he just like freezes and he just drops the chaser and like spills it. And he's stuck with her forever. He's stuck with a beautiful bitch that worships the ground he walks on for eternity. And that's his Twilight Zone punishment. Beautiful story to watch. I spoiled it, but I still recommend you watch it. It's beautiful. Twilight Zone, the old Twilight Zones are beautiful. And a nice place to visit. This one. This is my other favorite episode. This is probably my number one, to be honest. This one is about a bank robber. He's a bank robber, and I don't know if he's a bank robber, but he's a robber, and he robs a store, and he gets shot as he's running away, and as he gets up, there's a man, the guy laughing. He's in a white suit. And he comes and says, "Oh yeah, like you've died and all this." And he doesn't. Of course, the robber doesn't believe him at first, and he grows to believe the guy in the white suit. Says, "Oh, like I got shot and I died." So he's like walking and talking to him, and they're going over his history or what because the robber was just a piece of shit dude his whole life. He was killing kittens and all types of shit, right? That that 1940s asshole, like killing kittens, shit like that, right? I mean, killing a kitten is an asshole anywhere, but that was like the norm for being an asshole in like the 40s. Like you killed kittens. That's what, the unified agreement was back then. I mean, it's still a unified agreement, but that was like what was hot to unify on. And so the guy is a white dude in a white suit, and he's like walking and he's talking. He's like, "Yeah, you've made it. You're here now." And so he takes him back to where he's going to live for eternity, and it's a beautiful place, right? And he's like, "What would you like?" And he goes, "Well, I'd like." He goes, "So you'll give me anything I want?" And the dude in the white suit says, "Yes, I'll give you everything you want. What do you want?" He goes, "I want a smoking hot dame," because it's like the 40s, and like a beautiful bitch just comes in, and he's like dancing with her, and he's smoking a cigar, and he's like happy, right? Because he got a beautiful bitch, he's in a beautiful place. He's got beauty, he got a tuxedo on, and he's got everything he ever wanted, right? It's a beautiful fucking place, everything's beautiful, perfect, right? Then he asked the guy in the white suit, like, "I want to go to a casino." And he goes to the casino, and every time he plays a game, he wins the jackpot. And he's like, "Yo, this is fucking amazing, right? I can't believe it." And all the beautiful bitches want him and everything, right? And he's getting all this money, and everything's going his way. And after a while, he starts to get bored. He goes, "You know what? Like, I'm getting kind of bored. Like, hey, let me guess, I'm going to win if I go to the casino." And he goes, "Well, I can arrange you to lose." He goes, "No, it's not the same. If I know you're going to arrange me for me to lose, I know I'm going to lose now. Like, I need some type of surprise." He goes, "You know what?" He calls him Fats. He goes, "You know what, Fats? I'm starting to think I don't belong here. I don't because he thinks he's in heaven." He goes, I don't think I belong here." He goes, "Let me ask you something. Are there teachers here?" He goes, "Yes, there's some teachers." He goes, Are there like, for example, I don't know, are there doctors here?" He goes, "Yes, there's some doctors are here too." He goes, like, "I don't know, man. I just don't feel like I fit in. I don't think I was ever made to go to heaven. I think I'm supposed to go to the other place," meaning hell. But back then they couldn't say hell on TV. He goes, I think I'm meant to go to the other place because this is boring. I get everything I want." He goes, "Other place? Like, what made you think you wasn't in the other place? This is the other place." And he starts laughing, like in that bottom left. He's like laughing about it, like, "You in the other place. This is hell. Just because I'm in a white suit don't mean you in heaven." And so the dude tries to run away, and it's just a brick wall, and he can't get out. And he's stuck there in hell to get whatever he wants for eternity. That is his hell. And again, I hope I told that story in a way that made sense. But that's my favorite episode. And I think every man needs to watch that episode. I used to be lovey-dovey guy until I saw a friend of mine act the same way, and I would act the same way I was, and I really saw how disgusting it was from the outside, and got disgusted, and got disgusting. Sometimes you got to see it, yeah, that way, just how pathetic you are that way, yeah. What happened with that girl? I don't know what you mean. I don't know. I don't know if you're talking to me. What's up, Rinko? You wanted to hope your son is doing okay. Glad to see you streaming again. What's up, man? Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's fine, man. He finally sits. I think he could talk. He just don't want to talk. I think he just doesn't want to talk. Because I was in the mall with him. And I was because if we're out somewhere and the situation calls for it, I'll just feed him so he doesn't make a mess. So I was feeding him this in Czech it's called Pribinaček. I'll show you. It's not like pudding. It's this thing. So can you see that? Yeah. Not very well. I'll just go here. I was feeding one of these, right? It's not quite pudding, but he can still make a mess with it. It's close to pudding. It's like a soupy cheesecake kind of thing. And I had just finished feeding him, and I said hotovo. In Czech, hotovo means like it's over, it's done, right? And I said, I was feeding him, and I fed him the last bit, and I said hotovo, and he looks me dead in the eye and goes hotovo. I said, yeah, hotovo, and he went hotovo, and I couldn't get him to say hotovo ever since. I told his mama, he said hotovo twice in the mall. I don't think she believes me, but he definitely said this shit. I mean, he said it, syllable by syllable, hotovo, and he said it twice. I think he just doesn't want to talk right now. I think he can talk. I think he just doesn't want to. Because I was getting kind of worried for a while that something happened, but he can. He just doesn't want to. But he's good. He's good. We was playing on the bed yesterday, and it was one of them things we was playing, and he just like bust out, just start crying like hard, like not hard, but like you know when you have a toddler and like they're just crying because they're being a brat, or they're crying because they're like genuinely hurt. Like if you can't tell by the sound of it, then if you see their face, you can immediately tell like no, he's like seriously crying. So I was like, like I didn't know. I don't. Maybe he pulled a muscle or something. I don't know because we were playing and like I was tickling him and grabbing him, and usually he's like completely fine. But this time he just like randomly just like started crying hard, and I'm like, I immediately got scared. I think, well, did I grab him too hard? So I took his shirt off to see if there was any like mark or anything. Because there was a few times where, there was one time where. When he had to have been he was less than a year old, and he was over there by that heater, and he just started busting out crying like somebody shot him. I'm like, yo, I didn't hear nothing. Like, I didn't hear a sound or anything. Like, because, usually you would hear a sound to go along with it if he's going to cry that hard. I didn't hear anything. So I just went over there and got him and held him. And like 2 days later, there was like a scar on the top of his head. So he must have hit his head. Because she asked me about it. I said, a scar on his head. What you talking? I said, no, he did cry really hard for no reason. I thought it was for no reason. Like, it was like 2 days before. And I put together he must have hit his head on that heater. But I literally didn't hear a sound, right? So a couple of days ago, or yesterday, he did it. And like I said, I don't know if I could have, maybe I grabbed him the wrong way. So I took his shirt off to look at his body, make sure there wasn't any mark or something. And I like just touching different parts of his body to see if I could get him to cry, in correlation with me touching an exact spot. He never did. I don't know what happened. Maybe, I don't know what happened, but he was crying and he just like laid on me and didn't move. So I just held him, to comfort, because I don't know what the fuck's wrong with him at this point. And he was fine after that. He was fine, but yeah. But he's good, man. You know, the same old story. He's great with me and doesn't stop crying when mommy's around. I can't, if mommy's around, I can't touch him unless I'm tickling him. If I'm not tickling him, then I can't touch him. Unless we're alone, then we can, like, you know, chill out more like two people. But if mommy is there, no. I like that Twilight Zone where they thought they was on Mars and all the friends died except for three of them. Only realized they had been on Earth the whole time. Why am I thinking of the episode where they was trying to find the alien and it ended up being a dude behind the register and he had an eyeball in the middle of his forehead? When you bring it up, I think of that episode. And I don't think it's the same episode. Like there was an. Oh no, you talking about the one? Wait, no, that's not the same episode. I remember one episode where they were in space and they crashed. And it was two dudes, and they crashed, and the one dude died, and the other guy got out of the spaceship, and he found a woman. Okay, yeah, okay. So the episode I'm thinking of, I don't think this is the episode you're talking about. It was two astronauts. One of them's name was Adam, and they crashed, and Adam lived, and Adam got out of the the spacecraft and was walking around and found a woman, and the woman's name was Eve, and that ended up being Adam and Eve. But that's not the same episode you're talking about. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, man, because I'm tired of talking. So you guys have a good day, evening, night. And I'll catch you later, man. Thank you for anybody. I gotta do something with subscribe. I haven't even looked at Subscribe Star in so long. I've been so busy with other stuff. Oh, I'm going in another career, man, because I did that degree in network engineering years ago. So I'm doing another one. So I just got my military benefits completely back, how they should have been the whole time before the other office fucked me over. So I'm going back and I'm doing another master's in IT with a focus on cloud computing and analytics. So I want to do that. I think I want to. I was telling my girl, I think I want to actually work a job in that field. If I could work from home, work remotely, I think I want to do that. I'm genuinely interested in learning, like the real parts about it. As long as somebody gives me like a structured way to do it, I would. And it's going to be free because the military is paying for it. So I want to do it. I'm genuinely interested in just learning like the cloud computing part. If they have some, structured courses to learn about it with actual logic, and it's free. I'm genuinely interested to do it and try to get a job in it. I just want to do it just to do it. It's one of those things. Because I had one student who worked in a microbiology lab, and I told her like I just could not go somewhere for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. I just can't do that unless things are real bad. I'd rather do anything else. But yeah, and I start that soon. Pretty excited about it. But yeah, that's it. I'm out of here. Y'all have a good day, evening, night. I catch y'all later, man. Peace out.